Episode 725. We have an interesting penny roll here today because it has I have another one here. Let me see if they both look the same. Okay, so here's a triple diamond. It says 50-cent pennies here. All right, so we got, okay, so they're supposed to be the same, but you can tell, I was like, something's weird. First of all, I can feel that the spacing in this, there's less space. This one here is super spacious. And this is one of those that came in rolls. There's no flap on this one. How about this one? Also no flap. Sometimes they have the flap. Those are the older ones. So I have another one here to compare it to. I'm not going to look for it. But this one has super, and you can tell the colors are different. So this tells me, number one, either it was made in a totally different factory or, and you can see the 250 cents here from where they lined up. And here they don't do that. Oh, here you got two diamond rolls lining up. Anyway, and you could just tell the colors are different. So what does that mean? I don't know. Is this like the triple diamonds like a really old label penny wrapper? So is this like were they still like making some in like in the 2020s, or I don't know what it means. But this one here is much tighter, and I bet you this is and it just looks older. Anyway, we'll find out right now. I'm curious. These are the things that get me curious. Let's see what we got here. Wait, is this the lighter one? Did I grab the right one? Yeah. It's the pinker ones. Yeah, that one looks pinker. Okay, that's the one I want to do. When I took away the other one, oh, look at that, it ripped. I have ones that are super old and they never ripped. Ooh, lot of copper. Well, I'll do a very quick count. 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to say at least 15 copper pennies. That's a lot. All right. Very good. Very, very good. In the last episode, we talked about microscopes, and I did use the little handheld microscope that I got. So obviously, we're not going to talk about that today. No floating roof. Cop penny number 1. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. Oh, wow. Wow. Wow, that's a nice 82 copper Philadelphia large state, or bronze, aka bronze, also known as bronze. Why is it bronze? Who knows? Who knows? If you've been watching my channel, you know why the 1982 is considered bronze and not copper, because I found out a couple weeks ago, and I've been burning it out ever since then. Copper penny number 2. It's because, and I think this goes for everything bronze. So I bet you if I look up Bronze Age, when was the Bronze Age? I think there was the Iron Age, then there was the Bronze Age, right? Oh, no. Copper Age, right? I don't know, man. Copper, bronze. Anyway, bronze is that they add a little bit of tin. So I guess, look at this. I guess bronze adheres well. No close AM. Melts well with tin. Tin melts well with copper, excuse me. 2023. No extra. I don't know if I would put this in with my roll. I have to refill a 2023 roll. I need about 2 or 3 or 4 more. It is nice looking, except for these scratches. I don't know. I have to think about it. I'll put it to the side. Maybe one. I don't know. I'll have to see. Maybe I'll find some more. So yeah, I guess they learned at some point how to add tin, and tin is very light, right? I'm pretty sure it's much lighter than copper. So they probably discovered they can add tin to copper. Who knows? Maybe even makes it stronger, but it probably makes it lighter. And it was for swords and weapons and all kinds of stuff. It made it no white AM. Made it nice for them to be able to make stuff out of. lighter stuff, or maybe even makes it stronger. Maybe bronze is stronger than copper. I don't know. You can do the research on that and let me know in the comments below. Here goes copper paint number 3. Nice 1967. But that's the story with the 1982. It is bronze. If you look up any graded 1982 not zinc scent, it'll say bronze on it. Copper paint number 4. So and you might have known that before. I did not know that before, even though I'm sure I saw it. Maybe it just didn't register. Campaign number 5. That's a nice looking one. An AU condition, almost uncirculated, about uncirculated. I wonder what AU stands. Is it? Does AU stand for almost? I think AU stands for about uncirculated. Even though about and almost are probably interchangeable, but I think specific, not Pacific, right? You don't want to say specifically. If you come from New York, a lot of people say Pacifically. I think they think they're near the Pacific. They don't even know they're by the Atlantic. Specifically, it's about. I believe. I could be wrong. And yes, I'm from New York, born and raised. I left the first chance I got. It took me 9 years to graduate from college with just personal issues, man, growing up in New York. Just hanging out, man. That's what everybody did. That's what I learned how to do. Is it? Oh, look. Oh, wow. Do you see that? I'm not even going to say what I just noticed. All right, first, I'm not even going to say. So if you know what I'm looking for, I'll get back to the whole my youth in the 80s and 90s in a second. Okay, so 1988, right? On the 1988, you're looking for something specific, not Pacific, specific. And if you know what that is, when I turn it around, you should be looking for it. I'm not going to say what it is, and I'm not saying right now. But what I will do is move these pennies over to the side. And while you think about it and ponder it, I'm going to turn on my handy dandy electronic handheld microscope. Tom Love, whatever that means, Tom, I guess it was his name. And we're going to look for the FG. That is wild, man. Let's look at the other details on this coin real quickly to make sure it's not something that we're missing. But it's and the funny thing is, right? So wow, that is so crazy. Let me look at it under the loop now. So it looks like it's missing the FG, which of course, oh no, it's there. It's super weak. And of course, the main question is it a flared G? But so they had issues with the reverse during 1988, and obviously because one of them has the wrong reverse. And here we go, finding one. Not for nothing. Let's look at this very quickly. I'm not trying to spend too much time on it, but the coin is not in bad condition. That's number one. It's just a little dark, maybe a little dirty. And let's look at that. Let's zoom in on that FG real quick. So I don't know what that means specifically. Took a picture of it for the for the thumbnail. But super, super cool. 88. You can see the you can see the FG. It's ultra, ultra, ultra weak. I mean, to the point. I mean, sometimes something's so weak that they say miss. They call it missing. That would be the case. Like here, yeah. You see, that's the FG is supposed to be like that. What year is this? 86. Even on a dark one, you can see it. Maybe you could even see it clearer on the darker one. So is that a missing FG? I mean, it's not missing, right? I can see it very lightly. The real question is no, no white AM. The real question is whether or not it's a flared G. Well, I guess the real question is specifically, that's going to be the word of the day, is whether or not it's the wrong reverse. That's what we really want to know when it comes to this coin. Is this the wrong reverse? Is this an 89 or is this the wrong front? You could look at it either way you want to. Because, oh, no. It's the wrong. I don't know, right? Because this is what happened in 1988. And the end of every year for all coins, they make the dies for the previous year, right? Right. You don't make the die the same year you're making the coin. You make the dies the year before. So they made. Oh, and then they also make the coins the year before, right? They don't make the coins the year up. I mean, they might make some coins, but some coins they make the year before. So in 1988, for the 1989, so yes, so it's the wrong reverse. They had in 1989 obverse. No, they had a 1989 reverse, and then they used the old 1988 obverse to make the penny, right? So 89 is what the coin is, but they put an 88 on the front by accident. So the chance of this being a bad 88, a bad 89 reverse, that's also the wrong reverse, that's probably super highly unlikely. So we just have an ultra, ultra weak, most likely ultra weak. So what does that mean? It probably means it's grease. It probably means there was a little bit of grease right there over the FG, and it just didn't come out. That would have to be my assumption on that. Is that it's grease? So we have 2000. What was this one? Oh, that was the 2023. Okay, so we got a 2017 P. No white AM. So that would be the story with that coin. Another beautiful 8, right? We found another nice 82 bronze. How we start? Too bad. Too bad. Two beautiful bronze 1982 pennies. Too bad. So, one of the things that someone's going to ask inevitably in the comments below is what does this have value? I have to say that the big problem with this is really condition. I do not like that it's so dirty. I don't even know if they would grade this without environmental conditions. Look on the inside of that column right there, on the one next to the. Let me look at that. The other thing is, I wonder if it's a die clash. No, that's dirt. That's dirt or the not corrosion, staining. So the staining made it look like a die clash. It's just staining. Man, that is got to be one of the weakest FGs I've ever seen. I bet you it's grease. Yeah, grease strike FG is what I would call that. Um, there's probably just a little grease there. That's all. Is it? Yeah, and it's probably someone will pay $5 for that, for like a missing FG, like to that degree that you can't see the FG. Someone will pay $5 for that. So that's my. I mean, people will pay $5 today is like a buck from yesterday. That's copper penny number 8, or if you want to include the bronze, 10. Yeah, I mean, $5 today is like. See, here's the 89, and that's the way the G looks on the 89. It's flared. The serifs are there. They call it flare, but it's the serif. They call them the serif a flare, which I took calligraphy, and I don't. And this one has some beautiful, beautiful polishing lines. Or they, to me, that looks like polishing lines. They have to be raised up to be polishing lines. Make sure they're not scratches. Yeah, they're raised. You want to look at it under the microscope? Let's check that out under the microscope. I've never looked at polishing lines under the microscope before. And we're on the most powerful. Oh, no. We're on 1x, the most powerful lighting. I think that's going to be too high for the lighting. Let's put that down to 2. All right. Yep. You want to look at the FG? Okay, so you see on the G, you see the little. I can't point to it because I got the microscope over it. But if you look at the G, there's a little line coming down on the G, right? On the right side, there's a little line. They call that the graders are calling that flare, but it's the serif. That's the serif. So if you see that serif, that flare on the G on a 1988, you found yourself the 1988 flared G, or the excuse me, yes, the 1988 flared G, or really you found the 1989 with wrong, 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 wrong obverse die. And they call it the 88 flare G because it says 88 on the front, but I believe they just used the wrong. Obviously, they used the wrong obverse because they pulled out an 89 to make the coins, and they just didn't change the 88. So it's really an 89 wrong obverse, but they call it the 88 flare G. Okay, and let's see if we can see any more polishing lines. So why did they polish this? There was probably a die clash. There was probably a die clash. Yeah, you can see on the pop, and they polished it out. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and I'll put that into a flip. Nice 1971. So today I had no topic really today. Oh, I started talking about, why was I talking about my past for? Oh, nine. It took me 9 years to graduate college. It's not that. I mean, that's an extra 3 years. Yeah, it's just crazy life, man. I mean, forget about it, man. 90s, really. 80s were nuts too. That's more my early teenage years were the 80s. I graduated in the 80s, late 80s. Um, Very violent. New York was very violent. A lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of really ignorance, just behavior. And, I was a product of that. And really going to college is what probably saved my life. To be honest, I'll share that with you. Just to be totally honest with you, going to college is probably why I'm not dead or in prison or dead. Going to college saved my life because I grew up in the streets, and the streets were mean and rough, and people were getting killed. I mean, I knew so many people who were walking around with cuts on their face. That was like a normal thing in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, but mostly the 80s, people having long lines going from on their face from being cut. You could see that little blip on the shield. I know a lot of people like that. That never happened to me. Luckily, I mean, I got into tons and tons and tons of fights. That was, you had a fight. Either you fought or you got beat up. That was it. You fought back or you got beat up. And even though I'm not a big person, I said I'm not getting beat up, so I'm fighting back. And that was it, you know. So most people who grow up like that, who grow up in the streets because of family, really, right? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of, right? Because what's a little kid doing running around the streets unless their parents are not available, not around, not paying attention, which mine weren't. So that's how I grew up, and that's all I knew. And going to college and then working as a professional is what allowed me to see a different part of life and to make those changes. And my thing was, I said where I live. I said specific. Then I said, I got out of New York the first chance I got, and as soon I think a month after graduate, my first job, I think I had to stay working there for 6 months to show income. No, I was working. I did have income because I worked part time while I went to completed my master's degree. So I did have an on the book. We had to show 6 months of that specific income to qualify for the loan, and 2 years of work history. So I had 2 years of work history. I had 6 months of working at my first job, which I had my job already set up before I even graduated from college. Like the next week after graduating, I was working as a drug and alcohol counselor at two programs. I had a full time job and a part time job, and after I got out of work, I played handball every single day. I was a maniac, man. I was a monster. Little die chip, something going on up there. Anyway, so oh yeah, we got a little die chip, something up there. It's pretty cool. Might be worth $1 or $2. What a great penny roll hunt. Anyway, that's just extra information. I know nobody asked for that. Sorry if I bored you with that. Um, yeah, and I moved to and I went, and the funny thing is, I went out of the frying pan into the fire. I moved to Newark, and I was in Newark. If you look, you can look this stat up. The year I lived in Newark, 2000. I think I moved to Newark in 2002, and I was there till 2005. And for those 3 years I was there, one of the years had the most murders like in the country, and the other one had the most. There were three statistics in those years: the most murders, the most police killings, and the most taxi cab driver murders. Those three murders in Newark, they had the most in the country in either in the same year or multiple, whatever it was, man. It was bananas. So I went from, but it was a cheap house. It was close to driving into New York. So it was my first house. I lived there for a few years. And from there, I went to Reading. I mean, it was so crazy, man. I guess my whole childhood and young adult, and even when I lived in Reading had also tons and tons of murders. And I was there. I was in Reading until 2010, and that's when me and my wife uh, moved in together. And who knows? That could have saved my life too. You just never know. Here goes a nice 2023 to go with the other one, and that's just a little backstory. 99% of the people watching this channel have checked out before 25 minutes anyway. Those of you who stood here I appreciate it. Um, I appreciate it a lot. Anyone who stood for 25 minutes and listened to my nonsense and stood for the penny roll hunt, I really appreciate it. God bless. God bless you all. Uh, Special thanks to my members, of course, for supporting the channel. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. Some of you, one of you has been with me for 2 years. Another couple of you have been almost with me for 2 years from the very inception of the channel. And all the new members, I hope you guys stay with me forever. You know, it's so cool. Just to, very quickly, just to tell you about membership, not about what you get to see the scheduled videos, but I I look at my um, I look at my statistics every day, right? I have to look and I look at my community and right, if I go to my dashboard and I go to my dashboard and I go to the members. So I look at this, right? And whenever somebody new joins, I know. And so on a daily basis, I see everybody who's a member and who rejoined and how long you've been with me and all of that, and it's great, So even though I might not mention it every day, I'm aware of it every day. I'm thinking about it every day. I'm appreciative of every day, and I thank the Lord and I thank Jesus for everything that I got, and to protect me and to protect everyone else, and anyway, that's all I got. I want to say, give a next special thank you because I see those specific members I see on a daily basis. So, thank you, Eric, Sandra, Terry, America Eagle Roofing Company, Israel, and Colby. Thank you so much. God bless. Hopefully we got some more. We might have, by the time this video has shown, we might have more, might have less. But because I schedule the videos and the members get to watch those videos before they are shown to the public. So hopefully there's more. But if not, then que sera, sera. God bless.